Hey everyone, it's Michael, and today I'm going to talk to you about a really important topic that I think can really impact your life. I promise you, I learned it the hard way, but I think that if you really take it to heart, I promise you, it will make your life better. It's going to sound really simple, but it's more complex and nuanced than you think. I'm going to talk about it, and then I'm going to give you a couple of analogies and examples of how you can apply it to your life. And it's this: how to make your job, your relationship, whatever you're striving for in life, how to make it twice as easy. And this is a secret. Make whatever, the job, the relationship, whatever, twice as hard. Move that goalpost of what actually hard is, and then look back at where you were, and it will seem twice as easy. Now, it sounds simple, right? Okay, duh, just make it twice as hard, and then you'll look back and be like, it wasn't as hard. But why? Why is that so important? I think it's because when we have things that are easier in a sense and we think they're hard, we get very microscopic. We delve into the weeds. We start to overthink. And when you make things twice as hard, it forces you to go macro. It forces you to zoom out, to not overthink and only think about and do the important things. It forces you to trim the fat. So I have a couple of examples. For example, where I work, I do operations, and there are support roles. Now, it's infamous around operations that support roles are very slow, that they take their time, that they walk at their leisurely pace. And everyone thinks that their job is the hardest, right? But when I have a support team that's trying to input names and they're like, okay, so what name is it now? All right, so we'll input it here. And then I guess in 15 minutes, we can walk over. When an operation is like, no, go now. You need the name in. Here are the 5, input it. We need to go right now. Let's go. It's a totally different vibe, but you wouldn't know how hard it is until you push yourself, until you make it twice as hard. I have been doing now mandatory overtime with my 12-hour shifts for 3 weeks now, where I'm working 5 days a week from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. I thought working 4 days a week was a lot until I did 5. And I'm like, okay, now that I've been forced to push myself twice as hard, now I can look back and say, okay, it's not as hard as I thought. And also, there's a couple of things I was focusing on that are not as important as I thought. So this, I think, is really, honestly, going to help you out. Another example, I do YouTube, obviously, I do videos, and I gave myself a challenge that I wanted to post 2 videos a day for a week. And before that, I was doing once a month, maybe once a week if I really did a lot. And I said, you know what, I'm going to do twice a day for a week. No matter what happens, I just need, this is what I learned in operations. It's like you just get those numbers out there. Doesn't matter what it looks like, at least get it out there. And that forced me to really change my whole YouTube outlook, which was, for me, stop editing. I think it's pedantic. I hate it. And now editing, like for a lot of creators, is like amazing. Like you need it. For me, I can't get the videos out. I hate editing. So that forced me to realize like, hey, editing is not your thing, but maybe being more like a better speaker on camera is. Maybe that's a skill you can hone better. And by the way, your thumbnails, you have to systematize it more. By the way, it doesn't matter as much what the color scheme is here, what it is, just get it out there, get a good image. And so it forced me to become better, where now if I had to do once a week, I could really take my time and make it a lot better. One way, because it's hard to make your life twice as hard. Like no one wants to do that. Like seriously twice as hard, it usually doesn't come out of our own free will, unless you're David Goggins. You can look him up, the Navy SEAL. Like for the majority of us, we don't seek it. And even if we think we're going twice as hard, we're not. But for example, if you are trying to learn salsa, you're trying to dance salsa, you could either go once a week, and if you're a lead, you know that it can be very nerve-wracking to ask women to dance at first. It's like, oh my gosh, I only know 2 spins, left, right, and I spin myself. And so you're very nervous, and you could go once a week, where the first 2 weeks you don't really ask anyone. The 3rd time you're like, okay, maybe I'll ask someone. Oh my God, I can't believe it happened. And the 4th time that you go at the end of the week, you're like, okay, I'll ask this person and then another. So you dance with 3 people total. That's your volume. Like that's your total output. You dance 3 times. That's your practice. Not a lot. Whereas if you said, hey, I'm going to do a 30-day challenge where I go out every single night of the week, no matter what, and I don't have to dance with anyone if I don't want to, but I'm going to go out every single night. The first night you go out, you're going to be sweating. It's going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. These dancers are so good. They're looking at me. She's going to get bored when I dance with her. Oh my God, I can't do this. And you don't dance with anyone the first day. Second day, same thing. I'm nervous. I can't do this. You have this like gut feeling. It's going to go horrible. Third day, you come in and you're like, okay, I don't want to, but I'm bored now. Like, this is my third time and I'm going to be here for another 3 hours. Like, it's almost better to go through this frightening thing than sit here and do nothing. Okay, I'll ask someone. You ask someone, you're like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. And that's it for the night. You did it. Fourth day you come in, you're like, okay, yesterday wasn't too bad and I just did it yesterday. Let me ask 2 girls out or 3. Fourth day, you're like, okay, now that I've had those 3 days of practice, it's not that bad. By day 30, you're dancing the whole night. You force yourself to go twice as hard. And that's how you do it. Like, I think that's why, challenges of like overruling how many hours you need. Like, for example, I'm going to do 10 videos in 1 week. I'm going to do 30 days of dancing. Like, by making it harder, you get better because you allow yourself more time to fail. So when you look back, you're like, man, what I thought was hard is not it at all. And the only bad thing about this and why it's so nuanced is because you won't do it yourself. I know I just said it at the beginning of the video, but you won't do it yourself. So try to put yourself in situations that will make you do something twice as hard. Because I think a lot of us have more potential than we truly think. We can work harder than we think. We can work longer hours. We can work more often. And we don't realize this until we're put into situations that force us to do it. And you're like, damn, okay, I didn't know I could do it. And now looking back, I wasn't working. I wasn't doing shit. I thought working 6 hours a day or 8 hours a day with a 2-hour break was like, oh my God, that was a lot. I just worked for 4 hours straight. Now it's like I'm working 12 hours without even a break. It's not healthy, but without even a break. It's like you need to put yourself in those uncomfortable situations. It'll make you better. That's the tip. Let me know what you think. Comment in the video, and I will see you in the next one. If you want more videos like this, go ahead and subscribe, ring the bell button, and I'll see you in the next one.